Welcome to the So Much More podcast, where we talk with people in the custom window treatment, soft home furnishings industry, and so much more. I'm your host, Ciel DeGuglielmo. My guest on the podcast today is Chester France Jr. He is a veteran small business owner, a certified life coach, a Master of Divinity, a Master of Social Work, and an offender workplace development specialist. Mr. France has more than 30 years of professional experience in sales training, and management in the for-profit sector. For more than 15 years, Mr. France has provided management and technical assistance to nonprofit organizations, particularly in the faith-based community, to include establishing several nonprofit 501c3 corporations. Mr. France is a graduate of Morgan State University with a degree in business and marketing. He holds a Master of Divinity degree from the Howard University School of Divinity, and he is a graduate of the University of Maryland School of Social Work with a management and community organization concentration. Currently, Mr. France is the lead facilitator for Create You Network, an entrepreneurial training initiative located in West Baltimore in partnership with New Song Community Church. Mr. France is the founder of the Chill Station Incorporated, doing business as Lifting Labels. It is a 501 nonprofit organization and the founder of Lifting Labels Benefit Corporation, both established to reduce poverty for creating careers for Baltimore returning citizens and unemployed veterans, particularly those who are formerly incarcerated. When I had the opportunity to meet Mr. France, I was visiting the Kavanaugh House in Baltimore, and Stacy McAleer introduced me to Chester and to what he is doing with Lifting Labels. And I thought about him for a very long time after I met him, and I was so impressed with what he's doing that I wanted to introduce him to all of you, and just to hear how the ability and the skill to sew can affect us in so many different ways. And I was fascinated with the fact that the state of Maryland has sewing plants and that people are leaving incarceration with a skill, but no job to go to. And this is just one of the many ways that Chester impacts his community. And he says it during the interview, this is in his DNA, and he just keeps finding new ways to help people within his Baltimore community. I was absolutely fascinated and impressed with what he is doing with Lifting Labels, and I wanted you all to be able to hear about it. So I hope that you enjoy hearing from Mr. Chester France today. Chester, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Ciel, for having me and having me, have this opportunity to share our story with you.
Well, I am excited for people to hear about what you do. I met you a few weeks ago on a road trip with my friend Janelle Deck, and I'm not even sure you got to meet her because I think she was busy when Stacy McAleer was taking us on a tour of the building. So anyone who's listening does not know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about who you are and about what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm Chester France, born and raised in West Baltimore. Grew up in West Baltimore, high school in Baltimore, graduate of Morgan State University in business, Air Force veteran as well, Master of Social Work as well. So I have a social work degree and Master of Divinity as well from Howard Divinity School. So we are a apparel manufacturing social enterprise that we hire formerly incarcerated men and women coming back to Baltimore from prisons in Baltimore, in the state of Maryland. And we try to we try to find the people who have worked in the sewing plants in the prison system. We have 3 sewing plants in the prison system in Maryland. And so people do know how to sew when they come home, but there are no jobs. and they're making very minimal wages, like $3 or $3.80 a day. But the system says, well, at least we're giving them a skill. But when they come home to try to use the skill, there are no jobs for them. And
Right.
so it dawned on me that, oh my gosh, we got people coming home, know how to sew, but there are no jobs. So I decided, well, let me see if I can connect these dots. And I decided to start a nonprofit organization and hire people who have some sewing skills. I did try to hire people with no sewing skills, and oh my gosh, it was very expensive and very labor intensive, and it really
Right.
didn't work out well.
Okay.
So we try to find people at least with the sewing skills, and we train them in the kind of apparel and items that we are, that we're producing ourselves.
Okay.
Uh, and so the lifting labels is the organization. Well, it's just a program that we use because we're trying to lift the labels, the negative labels off of people when they come
Okay.
home. People attach all of the X's, ex offender, ex con, and all those kind of things. And so we want people, we create an environment where we are, where people feel good about being there and working there because it's very peaceful, no drama,
Mm-hmm.
no whole lot of commotion, and people like working there. So that's a quick, story, quick intro in terms of who we are and what we do.
Okay. So, as a social worker, I understand that you may have seen this need, but and you said you connected the dots, but lots of people, Chester, go, oh, yeah, that's a problem. And then they just keep on going. Oh, that's a shame. That's a problem. Was there something in particular that you saw and said, oh, I need to address this and I need to be the one to do something?
Well, I grew up in West Baltimore, where I remember, I don't know, maybe ago or so, there was a paper news article that was written, and it was a front page article with a photo of a young black man. And the title of the story was Sandtown has the highest incarceration rate in Baltimore City.
Oh,
I
wow.
grew up in Sandtown.
Okay.
And so it became very personal to me that there are a lot of guys that are incarcerated. And when I became the prison chaplain in one of the prisons in my early days, there were at least a half a dozen guys that I knew that I grew up with.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And
Yeah.
so it was me that felt, wow, this could have been me. I mean, I was not a great, nice little kid sitting on the steps when I was a young kid.
Okay.
And so it really resonated with me. And one of the guys in prison, he had 40 years for killing his girlfriend. And we were both grew up in the same church together. Our families were in the same church together. And so I met with him every day before I left the prison just to see how he was doing.
Hmm.
And so it became very personal to me that uh, I'm a product of the same community that these guys came out.
Okay.
And I felt like I might be in a position to help somebody, one of them or whomever, to be able to have a different life when they come home. So it became personal to me.
Right. Chester, why do you think it wasn't you who ended up in prison?
Well, I I grew up with both mom and dad
Okay.
and two brothers,
Hmm.
and my dad was a no nonsense guy. He wasn't a big guy, but he didn't play around,
Okay.
and he was a steel worker in the Baltimore, in that down in the what was called the Bethlehem Steel Company in Baltimore. And so he he told me, if I catch you with those boys, I'm gonna kill you. And it got my attention.
Okay.
Okay. I was like, okay, maybe I need to stop hanging out with these guys. And it was really that really
Okay.
made me really think about, well, I don't want my dad to catch me.
Right.
So I'm gonna stop hanging out with these guys. I'm gonna find some
Right.
other guys,
Yeah.
to hang out with.
So that influence of having your dad in your life and caring about what happened to you
Right.
made a difference
Yeah.
for you. Okay.
Yep. That's right.
Okay. All right. So did this need occur to you while you were still a prison chaplain? Was it, you said you read the article. Were you still in the prison system, working in the prison system when you saw that article?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes, I was. So what really, and I'm just tell you the story of how it really got started, because that's one of the questions. I was teaching a class in the prison with guys getting ready to come home within 18 months. And it was about restructuring your cognitive thinking.
Right.
You can't have the same, as we said, stinking thinking while you're in prison.
Right.
They'll have to have a different thinking when you come home. One of the young guys said, Mr. France, when I go home, I'm going to start a sewing business. I'm going to make clothes and I'm going to sell them. And I looked at him, I'm like, well, why do you think that's a good idea? Why you think you can do it? He said, Mr. France, I worked in the sewing plant almost my whole incarceration. I know how to sew. And it dawned on me, oh my gosh, there are 3 sewing plants. They make everything from every piece of garment that every inmate wears, correction officer uniform, police officer uniform. They make American flags in the prison system in Maryland. And I
Okay.
said, wow, we've been buying robes and clergy stuff from Lottie Dottie, everybody. No money comes back to the community. People make them don't look like us. So I said, that's how I got started
Okay.
with this guy letting me know that he can sew. And when he goes home, he's going to start a sewing business.
Right. And he
And
was
just
already changing his thinking. He was saying, I can start a business.
his thinking.
Yeah.
And just so you know, it may have been 4 years later that one of his friends was in the space where we're located,
Hmm.
working with one of the upholstering guys, wasn't Stacy's guys.
Okay.
And I remember him being in the same class.
Oh, wow.
And I said to him, "Oh my gosh, man, it's so good to see you.
Yeah.
Uh, what about your buddy who said he wanted to start a sewing?" He said, "Mr. France, he works for the State Highway Administration. I'll call him up and tell him, that I saw you and talked to you." And both of them came by the shop.
Did they?
Oh my gosh. The guy that gave me the idea came by the shop to see me.
And so he did not start a sewing
He
business,
did not start a sewing business.
but he gave you the idea.
He
So
gave me the
that's
idea.
fabulous.
And look, it's hard for somebody coming home from prison to start a business. That's for sure.
I
He
can't
needed a
even
job.
imagine. Yeah. I was unaware of some of the roadblocks that people encounter. Speaking with you, speaking with Stacy, um, I know that there was a person who was coming out of prison, and what money they do have is in a bank in DC, and they're not allowed to leave the state of Maryland because they're on parole, and they
Hmm.
have to get their money by going to this bank in person. Like it just feels impossible to succeed. So are you with what you have your people doing, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but
Hmm.
are you seeing that you can affect the recidivism rate? Is this something that you hope to have an impact on, you have felt an impact on?
I believe very strongly that we've had an impact on it. Uh, Particularly the people that we tend to hire are not young people who have served short sentences.
Okay.
These are people who have done at least 20 years, maybe minimum,
Okay.
and have worked in the sewing plant almost their whole time. So
Okay.
these tend to be older people, could be 50 and up,
Mm-hmm.
and they've done their time. They've done their time. They're not interested in doing nothing dumb to go back to prison. They're
Okay.
looking for a way to stay home and have a different life.
Okay.
And so uh, when they come to work for us and they see the kind of environment that we've created, I've had people to say, Mr. Francis, don't think about me leaving. And if you try to fire me, I'm still not going to leave.
Well, that says a lot.
So,
So, all right. So, Chester, tell the people who are listening what products you're creating
mhm,
with your program.
okay, okay. We started with making clergy garments, clergy robes,
Mm-hmm.
clergy stoles, uh, long garment bags to put the robes in, short garment bags to put jackets in.
Mm-hmm.
We make then we had a design person and trainer always thinking about what other products that we could make, train our people to make that wouldn't change our operations.
Okay.
And so she decided that we were going to teach folks how to make culinary aprons.
Okay.
And so we make culinary aprons, three different types of culinary aprons. And we also made aprons for breast cancer survivors as well,
Okay.
with in pink and with the ribbon embroidered at the top of
Okay.
the apron. We make tote bags, all kinds of tote bags as well. We make graduation stoles.
Okay.
Um, uh, and recently, we had a contract to make 50 laptop carrying bags.
Okay.
So we're able to take somebody's idea that they think that they have an idea about what they might want to have made,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have the wherewithal to make it.
Okay.
Sit down with that
Especially
person,
50.
and
Yeah.
if a person we make tote bags, and we can have a person to have a conversation with a person who has an idea about something that they want made,
Mm-hmm.
and we can have that conversation to see if we can make it for them because we're a custom manufacturing company.
Okay.
We don't buy anything offline overseas already made.
Okay.
We custom make everything.
Okay. In speaking with Stacy about what she's doing in her um, organization, I know that there are times when she's had to explain to people how their program works, and that while any upholstered or sewn product that comes out of her business is going to take longer because people are learning. When people find her because they want a sofa upholstered, not because
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
understand the mission of her organization. If
Mm-hmm.
people find you when they want something made, does it change how they respond to a wait time or anything like that when they find out that you have another mission behind just getting things manufactured?
No, we have people when they find us, they understand. We have an order form on our website
Okay.
where people can submit the order form and tell us what they want, when they need it, what type of fabric, and so forth and so on, so that we can have a better idea of what people are really requesting.
Okay.
And then I have a conversation with the person just to really see if we understand exactly what they are asking us to do.
Okay.
Sometimes if the person is local, we'll ask them to come in and sit down,
Okay.
because it's always good for people to come in and sit down. We have a much better conversation. They can see the fabric, they can feel the fabric, they can see the
Absolutely.
work that we're doing. And we emphasize this is a custom made garment, and it may take, it could take 6 to 8 weeks to get it done, because we're still doing work for other customers
Right.
as we're interviewing you.
That's the
So,
same in my industry.
yeah,
If I'm not working on something else, it means I'm not busy enough.
that's right. That's right. So they understand that, and we'll say that, but we'll try to get it done even before that. It's always best to give them, the the
Right.
long lane,
Right.
and
Right.
then we can come in shorter. Makes us look a little
Absolutely. I do the same thing myself.
better.
So, what were the early days like trying to get this off the ground for you, Chester?
Oh my gosh, CEO. Let me tell you, this is really gonna, you know, this is interesting. Um, I started a nonprofit in 2012. Okay,
Okay.
never. I got it on paper. I asked somebody to build us a website, because I've worked in the business, corporate America, and I have a business degree. Uh, I knew that you had to have, at least to get started, you had to have a performer. So we did 3 years. I did a 3 year financial performer. I
Hmm.
did a business plan. All of this was on paper. And it was hard to really get any traction for funding,
Okay.
because we were a startup and with no capacity, no background, no experience.
Right.
So 7 years later, 7 years, I've been holding on to this idea. An organization emerged in Baltimore called Innovation Works. Innovation Works is a nonprofit organization in Baltimore that whose mission is to identify small businesses in Baltimore City and help them to build long-term financial sustainability.
Oh, that is
Okay,
awesome.
that's like, oh my gosh. So I went to the website. This was in 2019. They were just getting started.
Okay.
On the website, the first criteria was that you had to be operational.
Okay. So there's the first obstacle.
However, I decided I was going to send this guy, who was a CEO, I'm going to send him everything that I had put together. I sent him a business plan. I sent him the 3 year financial performance. I sent him, we had a website, and we weren't selling it. We couldn't sell anything because we hadn't made anything.
Right. Right.
But I put a website up anyway about what we were going to sell. Um, and I sent it all to him. And he got back to me in 2 days. And he said, Chester, I did a little research on you and, and what you're talking about doing. And I see that the Sun paper did an article on you about 3 years ago. And I like what you sent me. So I think you should apply. Okay.
Okay.
He said we were probably much further ahead in our planning than a lot of people were that were coming into the cohort for the first time.
Okay.
So we had done a lot of work preparing for the startup. And so with that, me and another guy, we attended a 6-month online business accelerator program.
Mm-hmm.
And for 6 months, twice a week, we had a mentor from Baltimore, business person, and a mentor from Santa Clara University, who had been through the program with Santa Clara University.
Okay.
And they were our mentors. And at the end of the 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
I had to put together a a presentation to let impact investors know what we were doing, what we were planning on doing, and how much money it was going to take to start up.
Okay.
So we got a commitment for a couple of $100,000 to start up. They gave us 50 to start with because they weren't going to give us the whole
Right.
without looking to see how, whether or not the business model was going to work.
Right.
And so we hit the milestones very quickly. But then they came back and said, well, Chester, we want you to put some skin in the game, and we're going to ask you guys to help raise some of that money as well.
Okay.
But we got about 100,000 from them to get off the ground.
Okay.
And we started January the 4th, 2021. That was in COVID.
Oh man.
Okay. We started. I was just determined. I had board members say, "Oh, you can't. It's COVID. You shouldn't be starting." I said, "Look, when is a good time to start a business?"
There isn't one. Let's face it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start.
Yeah.
We'll do what we need to do, and we started. I hired 5 people who were formerly incarcerated, and a woman who was not, but she was she had been in the sewing business for a while. And so she became our supervisor.
Okay.
And that's how we got started.
Okay.
Um, and it's been 5 years, 4 months now. 5 years, 4
Wow.
months now.
All right. So, how do you find people to come into your program? I understand that a lot of people who are incarcerated are working in the sewing plants, but how do you decide if someone is a fit, or how do they find out about you
Mhm.
as they're leaving prison?
I have there's a sewing plant in the women's prison in Maryland, not far from Baltimore.
Okay.
And I have a relationship with the plant manager.
Okay.
And she will let me know who's coming home with sewing skills that she would recommend.
Okay.
Everyone is not a good fit that come home even with sewing skills.
Okay. She's had an opportunity to observe them long
She
term.
said, absolutely.
Okay.
And so she would tell me who she would recommend.
Okay.
And that has worked. And then there's another program in Baltimore that is specifically helping women coming home from prison to provide them with wraparound services.
Okay.
And so they're another opportunity as well. They will email me and say, we're having an open house. Can you come and present, you know, the work that you're doing so that our people can see that there may be an opportunity.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So you're seeing people, as you said, some long term prison sentences.
Right. Yeah.
How does learning a skill like sewing change the trajectory for people who are leaving prison? Is what about they've learned this skill in prison, but as you said, where are the jobs when they come out? So here is a job that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
What does that change for people?
It's a big deal. It really is a big deal. First and foremost, the fact that we will hire people from day one without, I mean, we know that they have a background to begin with
Right, right,
because that's who we're looking for.
right,
So that puts, that puts them at ease.
right. Because
and they're
it's not easy
delighted
to
that
get a job when you've
it's
had a prison sentence.
exactly. They're not
Yeah.
going to get turned down.
Right.
And so um, they're delighted that there is this opportunity
Okay.
because coming home from prison, and I just speak to some of the challenges. First and foremost, it's a place to live, have to have a place to live, and you have to have a job.
Right.
And so those are the two top high priorities. So if you can get a job, you might be able to find a family member that will allow you to stay with them for a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
or a friend, or there are some other uh, places where people can go in Baltimore, as a residential rehab place,
Okay.
those kind of places. But the key is having a job,
Right.
a job that's going to pay at least minimum wage.
Right. So what does the training process look like for someone? And how soon after they leave prison are they set up with you?
Well, I've had the person on that brochure, the woman on that brochure, face of
Yes.
the, when she came home, she was at a place that was called the Marion House, where women coming home from prison, that was where they could stay.
Okay.
When she got there, it was, I think, 3 days or 4 days. Somebody told a supervisor about us, and the supervisor called me and asked if we would interview this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she did work in the sewing plant. And I said,
Okay.
of course. I set up an interview. She came down. Seal, the woman just took my heart away. She was an elderly lady, had a life sentence. She did 30 some years, but she worked in the sewing plant. Um, and she was just so humble.
Okay.
Um, and I just said, Miss Gilliard, I'm going to hire you. And that was her first job out of prison within a week.
Okay.
And she's been there ever since. Word of mouth is a big way that we recruit other
Okay.
people as well, because they know each other.
Right. Right. And if
I mean,
one person is coming out and someone else is coming out a little bit later, they want to connect with them, I would
that's
think.
right. That's right.
Okay.
And they talk to each other, even those that are out, they talk to those that are still in.
Okay.
They have a way of communicating.
Yeah. Yeah. The sponsors of the So Much More podcast allow me to bring guests to you each week. And without them, I couldn't do it. I'm pleased as the owner of the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library that I can use the library to help sponsor the podcast as well. The library hosts the industry's largest curated collection of educational resources for the custom home furnishings professional. Membership to the library gives you access to a wealth of downloadable reference materials, videos, live events, as well as a community of support to help you develop your design, sales, and fabrication skills, and to grow or start a business. Join the library today at csfrl.org. The Workroom Channel is the premier online training provider for professional fabrication skills. Go to theworkroomchannel.com to browse the selection of anytime access courses created by industry experts. Watch detailed demonstration videos, download companion materials, and participate in private course discussion boards with your instructor and classmates from around the world. Start your course path today at theworkroomchannel.com. Education, networking, visibility, and industry discounts are just a few of the benefits that are offered to members of the Window Covering Association of America. The WCAA is the only national nonprofit trade association that's dedicated to the window coverings industry and the dealers, decorators, workrooms, designers, and installers that make up our membership. The library is a gold level sponsor of the WCAA. Join today at WCAA.org. WCAA, where you are never in business alone. Discover Climacus Studios, where innovation meets exceptional design. Climacus fabric and wallpaper collections are inspired by the original works of collaborating artists and developed with the understanding of how fabrics are manipulated into exquisite soft home furnishings. Workroom businesses enjoy exclusive access to engineered designs and best trade pricing. From clever layouts to classic linen prints, Climacus Studios delivers the quality and consistency that your business demands. And Climacus' reliable, on-time delivery keeps your projects running smoothly. Go to climacusstudios.com for swatches and trade account information. Climacus Studios, for the joy and profit of workrooms. So you mentioned hiring someone who had not been in the prison system as a supervisor. And I saw your location. There was no one there working when I was there. Is that where the products are made, where I met you?
Yes, absolutely. That day was a slow day.
Right. Well, that was good because I got to talk to you. So
yeah, it was a slow day. So we don't have the work, I'm not gonna, have people coming in. So that was one of those days.
Okay. So how many machines do you have set up in your space?
We have 6 straight stitch. Now, I'm let me have a disclaimer, give you a disclaimer. I knew nothing about sewing when I started this business. I knew
Okay.
about the business model.
Right.
And so I've learned a lot about sewing in the last 5 years, believe me. I was like, oh my gosh. The one thing I tell them I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit down at a sewing machine. I'm not doing
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
Okay. Okay. But I've learned so much because I had to buy everything myself. And so they're telling me what to buy. So I think we have 6 straight stitch machines. We have 2 surges. We have what they call it, a foot. What is that thing? A
walking foot.
A walking foot machine. We have a walking foot machine. We have a presser. I think that's it. 6, 8, 9 machines.
Okay. And I would love to know what success looks like for someone in your program.
Okay. Well, success is what I've seen, what we've been able to do is first and foremost pay them a decent hourly wage. The second thing is people really learning how to make the different products that we sell.
Okay.
And so we've had 2 people, supervisors or trainer supervisors, designer, that will train the people in the products.
Okay.
And so it will take out various amounts of time depending upon the product. But the training is very intense. And the supervisors will make sure that the different parts of the curriculum or the things that we're asking them to do is done perfectly. And so after they kind of finish the training, they'd be put on a particular product that's not too advanced.
Okay.
Pretty simple, and see how they do with that. And once they do that, they feel good about themselves to the point where they want to continue to make the products.
Okay.
And so success is them staying there as long as they stay.
Okay.
I have very little turnover.
Okay.
Now, in the early days, I had turnover because I was shooting from the hip, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and people weren't really totally interested. They were just interested in getting the job, getting paid for the time, for the
Okay.
moment,
Right. Right.
okay, and bail out. But
Okay.
now we have a whole different business model, how we train, who we bring in,
Okay.
and so we have a better retention rate.
Okay. What for you has been the most meaningful part of this?
Look, oh, it's when they look, because I don't know how to sew. They always asking me questions about, Mr. France, what about this? What about that? And I said, how many times I have to tell y'all? I don't know anything about sewing. Don't ask me. I- You know, but they want me there. They want me there because they need to see me there, even though I don't know nothing about sewing. They want me there just to be there to support them and to see
Okay.
me and talk to me. And they feel comfortable enough to share with me some personal things that may be going on in their life
Okay.
that they think I can help them with.
Okay.
I mean, we've helped people to learn how to use a computer. We've
Because
learned,
they've been in prison
we've
so
taught
long,
them
they
how to
don't
use
know how.
a
Yeah.
cell phone.
Right.
Um, One guy, his mom was very sick, living at home. He was living with his mom sick, um, and she was not doing well, going into hospice. And he had a lot of insurance policies. He had a lot of insurance policies. He knew nothing about insurance policies,
Yeah.
but he brought him in and asked me if I could help him. And I said, "Wow, you don't know. I spent a lot of years in the insurance business. I know a lot about insurance. So let me just go one by one with each one of these
Yeah.
policies, tell you what they're all about, who the beneficiary is, whether or not, they're still good, and so forth and so on." So it's
Right.
those kind of things that we have provided
Right.
other than just them coming to work sewing.
Right. This isn't just a job.
It's not just a job.
Okay.
We're here to support you any way we can. And they have the confidence that we're there non-judgmental, but we're there to help them.
Okay.
The lady
Okay.
on the brochure, she was able to rent an apartment in about 6 months after she started working there,
Okay.
her own place. And
And
she
that
said, Mr. France, I'm not leaving.
that has to be very impactful for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the, you know, that tells me that we're at least doing what our mission is all about.
Okay. Okay. What do you think some of the misconceptions are about the formerly incarcerated that you wish other people understood better?
Well, the fact that people are still human beings, they have feelings, they have made mistakes, uh, but they just need a chance to show people that they are not the same person that they were 17 at age 17 or 16.
Right, right.
They're now 50 and 60 years old.
Hmm.
And they just need a chance to show people that they have changed, and willing to do the right things and do the things that they need to do in order to move forward with a productive life. And so it's really all about uh, people not being so judgmental so quickly,
Okay.
but learn have a conversation with people and learn something about them, because that's how we learn about people, anybody that we want to, you know, become close to.
Right.
You have to have a conversation and you decide, well, no, I don't think I want to hang out with this person. And you don't know whether that person's been in prison or not.
Right. Right.
And so there are a lot of, and this gets to a point where we just don't know who has a prison background or not.
Right.
Because you could be talking to a person and you would never know that they've ever been in prison.
Right. But if you know that ahead of time,
Yeah.
it may change your perception of them as you're talking to them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
What about running this has been harder than you thought it would be?
Everything.
I can
Oh
relate to
gosh.
that.
Well, look, like you, I'm a one person show.
Yeah.
I do everything. Unfortunately, I have a board of members that don't think that they should be involved as having a name on the stationery as a board member.
Okay.
And I come in maybe, if there's a lot of work, I used to come in every day to be there to make sure, everything is moving. I, I, I order fabrics. I buy machines. I do fundraising. Uh, I go out and speak to potential customers. I
Okay.
make deliveries when it's, not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do all of those kind of things, but I guess the hardest thing for me, and the thing that I have skills at, but don't like to do, is raise money.
Okay.
Um, I'd rather be talking to somebody about the work that we're doing and see how we can help them, and we show them our value proposition,
Okay.
what we can do differently to solve a pain point that they may have.
Okay.
Bringing the
Which
orders in.
which
I'm
means more money. Yeah.
that's I'm the people person.
Okay.
But the hardest thing has been just that it's all about the money.
Okay. Has doing this changed you personally?
Um, no, I don't. It hasn't changed me. It's made me more persistent
Okay.
about getting it to a place where it's financially sustainable.
Okay.
Um, it's like I've had people to say on the board, a couple people said, you need to just give this up. I like, okay, you don't need to be on my board.
Nobody needs that kind of negative thinking.
I don't need that. I
Yeah.
don't need that. I'm not a
Yeah.
negative person. I don't care what comes down the pipe. If there's a problem, I believe there's a solution.
Okay.
And it takes time. It may take work, but I find a solution.
Okay.
Um, so it's made me, it's just, it helped me to understand that it's not an easy, being in business is not easy.
No,
But
it's not.
if you say that's what you want to do, you got to keep going.
So what motivates you to keep going on the tough days when you've got maybe someone who's not so supportive, or it's not a busy day, there aren't any orders right now? What motivates you and keeps you going?
It's my DNA. That's all I can tell you. It's my
It's just
DNA.
who you are.
That's who I am.
Okay. In my workroom, I can be a perfectionist, but my craftsmanship and my ability has a lot to do with the quality that goes out of my workroom.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that matter to the people getting started with you? How you said, like, you get them started on the fairly easy products at first. I
Mm-hmm.
know in talking with Stacy, it was important to her that whatever work goes out is not, it's professional and
Mm-hmm.
it looks as good as possible. What are your
Mm-hmm.
feelings about that, and how does lifting labels do that?
It's got to be the same thing. You
Okay.
can't. One of our supervisors was a quality control person extraordinaire.
Okay.
She would take a garment after it's been done, or even before it gets everything completed, whatever part she tells people to work on, she'll come back and check. And if the person is not, if the stitch isn't straight enough, she'll make them take the stitch out,
Okay.
redo it. Um, Nothing goes out the door with anything other than it being perfect.
Okay.
Um, we have, and our reputation. I mean, it's all about having a good reputation so people can come back.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Because
And so, yeah, nothing goes out without it being exactly perfect.
okay. Have you noticed any of the participants in your program developing a passion for the sewing since you started this?
Yes, indeed. Uh, the lady, both two people particularly. Um, the lady that is on the brochure, I talked to her yesterday or the day before, Saturday, I think it was. I know, I called her yesterday and wished her a happy Mother's Day.
Okay.
Okay, so I know she got some girls, grown girls, women. And I said to her that we are planning to attend, to be a vendor at a women's veterans event in June.
Okay.
And I wanted to have some tote bags made out of military fabric.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted it to be reversible bag, a tote bag.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be uh, a plain color like green on one side, but then we have the military fabric, army fabric on the other side.
Okay.
And she said, Miss France, how many do you need? I said, 25. She said, I'll be down there Monday and I'll get started. I'm going to do 5 a day. She loves to do tote bags.
Okay.
One of the other guys, he loves, the stoles, and we make what's called the chasubles for the
Yes.
Episcopal and Catholic
Mm-hmm.
priests.
Mm-hmm.
He loves doing that.
Okay.
So they have a particular type of product that they like working on,
Okay.
and they will, they don't want anybody else to touch it but them.
Okay. So they have some pride in what they're doing.
Pride in what they're doing, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see lifting labels in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, that's a good segue. Something that I wanted to share with you. I have started a for-profit company called Lifting Labels Benefit Corporation.
Okay.
And the mission is the same. It's a benefit corporation because the mission has to be somewhat of a public good, providing a public good.
Okay.
And so, because I'm a veteran, I attended a breakfast a year ago at the Oriole Stadium for veteran-owned small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that the state of Maryland had specific programs and certifications for veteran-owned small businesses.
Okay.
So I decided to start a for-profit corporation to be able to take advantage of procurement opportunities on
Okay.
the local, state, and federal level.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's up and running. I'm registered with SAM.gov. I'm registered as a veteran small business owner with the VA, the SBA. And so what I'm planning to do right now is to start an apprenticeship program, a sewing apprenticeship program
Okay.
to teach unemployed veterans how to sew.
Oh, wow.
And so and it's the Maryland Department of Labor apprenticeship program. I've already completed the application, and the lady's working with me to get it up and running.
Okay.
I also have to have some funding because it's a year-long program, and we have to pay people even while they are an
Right.
apprentice.
Right.
And so I see this as a real opportunity for us to scale up within the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Uh, First and foremost, to be able to uh, train some other folks who are unemployed, and
Mm-hmm.
some are formerly incarcerated. They're veterans that are formerly incarcerated too.
Right. Right.
And so it's an opportunity to solve a problem of unemployed veterans.
Okay.
And not that we're going to abandon, the formerly incarcerated that we're already working with,
Right.
but this is going to be the way that we're going to have financial sustainability.
Okay.
Because in the federal, particularly in the state and the federal arena, it just takes one sizable contract to make
To
a
make a
big
difference.
difference in
Yes, it does.
your operations.
Right.
Um, and just as a side note, you didn't meet this guy because he wasn't there, but Stacy showed you the space right next to us that the guy makes all kind of underwear, shirts, and all
I
kind of
saw the
things.
space. Yes.
Um, that's George. George has a contract with the Navy making draperies, curtains.
That's fantastic.
Okay. He's making curtains for the Navy bunk beds on a submarine.
So they can pull them when they're sleeping.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
And I said to George, George, how you get that contract? Well, somebody that he brought the business from that folded had the contract. So he got the
Okay.
contract as well. But I found that to be so interesting. I'm like, heck, I never even thought about that.
But now with this business that you've created, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to apply for contracts like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's
Okay.
all about, sewing. We call it cut. There's a whole what's called NAS code,
Yes.
NACS or NAC
The
something.
I forget what
NAIC.
order. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know there's an
Yeah.
I in there. Yes.
Those NAS codes,
Yes.
there's all about cutting and sew NAS codes. I mean, there could be 24 different. Yeah, we're talking about shirts. We're talking about bags, tactical bags. We're talking about uniforms. We could be anything apparel we
Okay.
could make for the military or the government.
Okay.
And so it's a matter of finding who those agencies are and the NAS codes that line up with our NAS codes.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I'll be very excited to see what you do with that.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Chester, what kind of support would make the biggest difference for what you're doing right now?
The we we have revenue two ways coming in the door. One, of course, donations. We're a nonprofit, so you can make a donation. You go on our website, make a donation. But the big thing that I would love people to think about helping how they can help us is thinking about what we make where they might be able to help us find a potential customer.
Okay.
I don't know. You have people all over. They have the business in your particular arena, but they have networks of people in other types of businesses.
Yes, for sure.
I just as an idea, just as a thought. There's a guy that knows about uh, a restaurant association. He has a good friend who is president of the restaurant association. Oh, if you could help us to get a piece of that pie, making
Yes.
aprons, making tablecloths, making draperies, we could embroider them.
That would make a huge difference.
That would make a huge difference. So it's those types of things when your members think about, okay, listening to this, well, how can I help Chester?
Okay.
Think about the products that we make, or even the products that we don't make, that you think we might be able to help us scale up, because it's all about the orders. We get the orders in the door, people pay us, we pay our employees.
Okay. And it gives them a second chance.
And it gives them a second chance, keeps them employed.
Okay.
And so they're helping the people continue to earn a decent wage by helping to get orders in the door.
Okay.
And so it's not just about a donation. The donation is very quick. It can go away, But
it can
if
be
you
used
have
up
an
very
order,
quickly. Yeah.
you have an order, sizable order, people are working. And that's what we want. We want to keep people working.
And it's a potential for reorders as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chester, where can people find more about lifting labels?
Well, the website
Okay.
is the place.
Okay.
On our website, as you well know, there's a link to make a donation, but there's also a link for an inquiry. There's an order form for an inquiry. And that's all it is. You're not making an order. You're just giving us an inquiry about what you would like. And then
to get started.
We will have a conversation after you submit the order form.
Okay. All right. Chester, this has been an absolute delight for me to talk with you and learn more about lifting labels. I was truly fascinated when we were touring the building that Stacy is in and hearing more about what you're doing. And I hope that people listening either change their minds a little bit about what second chances mean, or understand that passing an opportunity along to your organization could mean a big difference for a lot of people. But I really appreciate that you took the time to talk with me this morning.
Look, I appreciate the fact that you were excited about what we were doing, and that's how this happened.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you as well, and just let me know how we can, stay connected.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one now.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Chester today. Sometimes when I am interviewing people with a different business model than mine, or a different type of business, I think about what they've accomplished, and I think that is so amazing that they found their place in this world, that they found their niche, that they found what they were meant to do. It may not be for me personally, but I love to be able to see people find what is for them. And I truly believe that Chester has found that for himself. To just say it's in his DNA, he's saying it like, I have no other choice. But I think that what he is accomplishing in this world is truly amazing. And that by offering people a chance to support themselves and to do something with this skill that they have learned, and to give them the opportunity that keeps them out of prison, I'm just amazed at how much of his time and energy is dedicated to this. And I hope that hearing from him inspires you in some way. Most of us cannot commit the time or energy that Chester has, but maybe there are some small ways that we can find a way to help other people with our skills. And if it's something you feel motivated to do, there is a link to the Lifting Labels website. Feel free to donate or to contact Chester to see if there's any way that you can help. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.